Hey fam, we're back with another banger. What if half demigod Naruto had relationship with an angel? So before we start, if you are craving adult mature content, join my Patreon now, link are in the description box. Alright, enough talk, let's fire it up. 5-year-old Naruto Uzumaki was running away from a crowd that was out for his blood. Why does it always happen to me? It's not like I've done anything to them, right? So why are they chasing after me? It was always like this. The villagers chased after him on the 10th day of October every single year. It seemed like they had more hatred on the October 10th compared to any other day. Well, of course it was the day that the Kyuubi was killed by the great Yondaime, but Naruto didn't see why it had anything to do with him. They should have been celebrating the defeat of the Kyuubi, not chase after a little kid like him. I mean, what the freak? Naruto sighed as he turned around at an alley and hid behind a trash can. He panted as he heard some villagers pass by without finding him. Thinking that he had escaped the mob of villagers that were after him, Naruto came out from behind the trash can and left sighing a breath of relief. Then his relief turned into panic as someone clamped a hand over his mouth, and the next thing he knew, he was gone into unconsciousness. When Naruto woke up, he was inside of a SS sewer. What the, did the villagers drop me into a sewer? Well, at least it doesn't seem like they hurt me in any way. Interesting. Contrary to what many people believed about Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto was actually quite the fast learner and was very logical and smart. However, he was never given a chance at learning anything properly, which led him to become the dumb child he was. He looked around and saw no exit. That was weird. Also, another thing was that the whole place was lit up in a comforting golden light that also showed malice. How Naruto saw malice was something that was creepy, but Naruto could feel it. So, I see my jailer finally decided to show me his presence. It took you a while though. It was boring in here. Well, I guess the couple beatings that you took at first was fun, then, well, it got boring. Naruto's sweat dropped. While he believed that he should have been scared at the deep voice that was inside of this sewer, but he couldn't help but sweat drop at the statement, even though he was basically laughing at his misfortune. Who are you? And why are you in this sewer? Can you help me leave? I don't see a door to leave anywhere. The deep voice sighed. Too many questions. One question at a time from now on. But to answer the ones that you have given, in order, figure it out, because someone put me here, and possibly. Well, that was, not helpful at all. Do you need more help then? Naruto fell back even though there was nothing that could have caused the fall. Why, you can read my mind? Yes. Now, to introduce myself. Then in the corner of his eyes, Naruto saw a light lighting up, and when Naruto looked, he was shocked and stunned. Well, there were multiple reasons. One, he was shocked that he didn't see the giant cage that was there since, well, it was huge, and the other thing was the thing that was inside of the cage. Well, you seem better than the rest. At least you don't fall in fear or in awe or something. Honestly, it's hard to find decent humans these days. The voice, no, the fox said in a lazy voice. The thing behind the cage was a gigantic fox. When Naruto saw that the fox had 9 tails, his jaw dropped. Kyuubi. Yes, so what are you going to do now? What am I supposed to do? Naruto got closer to the cage that held the Kyuubi, and when he got really, really close, a claw came flying out and stopped right in front of Naruto's face. The fox looked surprised. All that the 5-year-old boy did when the claw was shot out of the cage was blink. Why do you not fall back in fear? Do you not fear for your life? Well, I guess that I've just gotten used to people trying to kill me. I guess that's why I'm not so scared anymore. I'm not completely sure. Then Naruto gave one of his trademark smiles and then scratched the back of his head. Kushina, Minato, you would be ashamed if you saw the world right now, Kyuubi thought as Naruto just stared at the floor, not daring to look up at the fox's eyes. What do you want to do with your life, kid? The Kyuubi sighed. What do you want to do with your life? What do you hope to accomplish in the world that you live in right now? Well, I want to be Hokage. Gigi's really nice and so strong, and I'll become the Hokage to have everyone acknowledge me, and I'll protect the village. Interesting. This is different from what he had said to Sarutobi. Why is it that you lied? What do you mean? You told Sarutobi that you wanted to become the Hokage so you could get acknowledgement from the villagers. So, why? I don't know, wait, what? Who's Sarutobi, and how do you know that I lied about that? The Kyuubi sighed as he thought over everything that he had just learned about Naruto just now. Where do you think that we are right now? I thought that we talked about that. Aren't we in the sewers? But, wait, then why are you here and how are you here? And, Naruto wanted to continue on, but after reminding himself that Kyuubi asked for one question at a time, he stopped before he crossed the line of too many questions in one rambling. I'm glad that you stopped. Well, I guess in a sense we can say that we're inside of your head. What? Naruto thought. There was no way that gigantic place was inside of his head. Then, his head would have been like the size of this room, and people had said that he had a big head before, but he was sure that his head wasn't that big. What are you talking about? There's no way that this room could fit inside of my head. Kyuubi mentally slapped himself in the head. No matter how smart a child was a child. Do you want, or rather, do you need me to explain the concept of everything? I'll try to tell you everything that I know of from the beginning to the end, or, about the room that is. Yes, I'll listen to whatever you have to tell me. Well, you better listen up since I'm only going to tell you this once. Saying everything over again would be way too much trouble on my part. Fine, just go on, Naruto said impatiently while getting a small tick mark on his head for the laziness of the fox. This whole entire place is called your mindscape. This is basically the plane inside of your mind where everything exists. Your memories that you can remember, and some things that you don't remember. But I wouldn't go messing with those if I were you. They can damage your brain if dealt with the wrong way. Are you following so far? Naruto nodded his head in confirmation. This place is a representation of what your mind is like. This is the place that also imprisons me, the great Kyuubi no Kitsune. Naruto's sweat dropped at the title the Kyuubi had given him, or herself. This place exists in every person's they can reach. It depends on their chakra and its nature. However, all Jinchuriki can enter their mindscape. I'll explain later, Kyuubi said, seeing the confused look on Naruto's face. It is basically the status of your mind. You can meditate to pull yourself in here in the future if you want to entertain a lonely fox. Naruto just stared, thinking over some things. Then he nodded and gestured to Kyuubi to continue, even though Kyuubi was musing listening to what Naruto was thinking. That basically explains the whole concept of the mindscape. Do you have anything else you wish to know before you have to leave? I see that you are starting to wake up in the real world. Naruto panicked as he actually did have a lot of things that he wanted to ask the Kyuubi. Wait, I can see you again, right? I have so many questions to ask. Just come back to the mindscape and you will be able to see me again. Then Naruto disappeared from the mindscape, and before he left, anyone about me? Naruto nodded, then he completely disappeared from the mindscape. When Naruto had left, the Kyuubi laughed inside of the mindscape. You had quite the child, Minato, Kushina, you would be proud. When Naruto woke up again, all he saw was white, and more white. Naruto suddenly realized where he was. He quickly got out of the bed and prepared to jump out of the window when something, or rather, someone's hand grabbed his arm roughly and pushed him back onto the bed that he was previously on. No, you don't, Naruto, a very, very familiar voice said. Naruto groaned. Gigi, why am I in the hospital again? You don't remember anything? Remember what? Sarutobi sighed in relief. Naruto's condition was anything but fine yesterday when he had finally tracked the young boy down. It was a good thing that Naruto didn't remember what had happened to him. It was nothing serious. You must have bumped your head hard, but I wasn't completely sure how severe the injury was, so I brought you here so the doctor could look over you to see if there was any damage done to your body. Oh, I see, Naruto said, getting angry mentally after detecting that the Hokage had lied. Then Naruto smiled on the outside. Well, so am I free to go then? I feel great. Yes, you are free to go. Say, you want to get some ramen, Naruto? Oh wow, that would be great. Sarutobi huckled as Naruto bolted out of the room. Sarutobi followed him, mentally sighing in relief that Naruto hadn't turned around and saw what was in the corner of the room. Then he left afterwards, and if one were to look into the corner of Naruto's previous hospital room, they would have seen a barrel full of bloody towels. So, I'm back. Are you still willing to answer some of the questions that I have? Naruto said. After having a day full of ramen and some time at his house with Gigi, Naruto had decided to once again come back into the mindscape. He had some troubles figuring out how to get back to the mindscape, but eventually he had figured it out, and now here he was standing in front of the Kyuubi once again. Yes, I will answer your questions, and afterwards, I'll make you an interesting offer. Okay, well, first, why are you trapped inside of my mindscape? I heard that you were killed by the Yondaime Hokage. You can't kill a Biju. They spread those rumors to protect you. The Yondaime sealed me inside of you the day you were born, which happened to be when I attacked Konoha. Interesting. You do not feel any resentment towards the Yondaime for making this decision of sealing me inside of you? It has already happened. The past will not change because I cry and stay angry at the Yondaime. Well, anyways, I was wondering if you were the only Biju. You keep on saying Biju, Biju as if there were more. So, could you explain? Yes. Sit down, as this is a long story. Naruto sat down and felt something very comfortable, and when he looked down, he saw a large beanbag that had somehow suddenly appeared in this place, and it wasn't getting wet from the water that was inside of the mindscape. Well, to explain us Bijus, I must explain the history of the world. Are you sure that you can handle all of this information? Yes, I'm ready. I'll stay here as long as I need to listen to your story. Gigi shouldn't be coming back for another couple of days, so I should be fine. Oh, and by the way, the time outside of your mindscape is not affected by the time inside here. So hours and pass inside of here, but it would only be minutes in the outside world. That's cool. Now please, go on with the story. Long ago, before the founding of the hidden villages, during an era of endless wars between mankind, the Shinju existed as a tree that was revered as a deity which bore a fruit once every 1,000 years. Although it was forbidden to consume the Shinju's fruit, it was eaten by Princess Kaguya Otsutsuki, who used the power it granted her to end the wars plaguing the lands. Some time after this, Kaguya gave birth to a son who became the first human born with chakra. Outraged by the theft of its power, the Shinju assumed its tailed beast form of what many christened as the 10 Tails, or Jubi. Are you following so far?
Yes. The 10 Tails rampaged throughout the lands until Hagoromo managed to single-handedly defeat the beast and sealed it within himself. This act, along with many other great deeds throughout his lifetime, resulted in Hagoromo becoming revered as the Sage of the Six Paths. However, knowing that his death would unleash the 10 Tails back into the world to continue its rampage and reclaim the chakra that humanity now possesses, Hagoromo separated the monster's chakra from its body before using Chibaku Tensai to seal the husk in what would become the moon. From there, the sage used his creation of all things ability to divide the chakra into the 9-tailed beasts. And that's the end of the story. So basically, this Hagoromo guy saved the world, put the Jubi in himself, then before he died, he created you guys so the Jubi wouldn't go rampaging in this world once again. I guess in a short version that would be it. So there are 9 of you, huh? Yes, but I am the strongest as I have 9 tails. But beware. If any other Jinchuriki had control of one of our powers, that person could be devastating in a battle.
What's a Jinchuriki? The term used to describe someone that holds a Biju. Okay, I get it now. So, I think I know mostly. Wait, never mind. I want to know if you know who my parents are. That is something that I cannot tell you. However, Kyuubi continued, seeing Naruto's crestfallen face. If you accept my offer, you may get to hear who they are before anyone else could tell you who they are. Does anyone else know? That fool Sarutobi knows, but he has yet to tell you. Now that was something that Naruto wouldn't have had expected. Well, never mind that. It always seemed that Hokage Gigi lied to him to keep him safe. So what was one more lie, even though it would have been better if Hokage Gigi would have said that he would tell him later rather than telling him that he didn't know who it was. What is your offer to me? I will help you train in the shinobi arts, and help you awaken your bloodline, but in return, you will get stronger and kill the man that forced me to attack the village. Who is that? Madara, Uchiha. Interesting. Having me kill one of the most strongest people in history. Fine. I accept your terms and I shall try my hardest to kill this man, Madara Uchiha. Then you have a deal, Kit. Although I would have helped you anyways, Kit, I need to keep some of my secrets as well. Kyuubi thought as he saw Naruto smile in glee at the prospect of getting training that he was never offered before. We will start slowly, but eventually, I will make you into one of the strongest people in this world, no, maybe even the universe. I like the sound of that. Well then, I will see you tomorrow, Kyuubi-sensei, as I believe that there is nothing else to talk about. I hate formalities. Call me Kyuubi, fine then Kyuubi. Then Naruto disappeared from the mindscape, leaving the fox alone again inside of the mindscape. Quite the determined child. Kushina, Minato, I am doing this for you too. Your son will be one of the finest shinobi to talk on this earth. Kyuubi, no, Kurama had literally put Naruto in what you would call a death torture schedule for training during the next 7 years before Naruto could take the Genin exams. Kyuubi had placed Naruto at around Anbu or Elite Junin level, only lacking experience for the Kage level rank up. They had become great friends actually. Naruto would have never had seen it coming. Kurama had told Naruto his real name approximately 3 years into their training, and since then Naruto had been calling Kurama by that name. Kurama had decided to tell him about his mother and father 5 years into training, when Kurama decided that Naruto had reached into the Junin rank in terms of pure skill and chakra. To say the least, Naruto was surprised. While he was only parents for sealing Kurama into him, his anger subsided when he heard of what kinds of people his parents were, and that they would have only done what they had done only in a situation where they had absolutely nothing else that they could do. Naruto's relationship with Kurama had become even stronger after Kurama had told him that Naruto's mother and father asked Kurama to take care of him during their deaths. Naruto had learned many things about Kurama during the many years that they spent together training. Naruto had managed to fix up his mindscape into something more pleasant that Kurama could stay in so he wouldn't be so uncomfortable. Overall, the whole training throughout the many years had gone amazingly well, and Naruto was on the track of becoming the best shinobi in the universe. He still kept up with his happy mask in front of the villagers though. I didn't think the specific things that he trained in was very interesting, nor is it useful since there was nothing special and Naruto hadn't gained his bloodline during the training, so yeah. Let's just say he's around Junin by the time he graduates. Naruto sighed as he walked towards the academy on graduation day wearing the horrendous jumpsuit that he had been wearing for the past years and years. Naruto had a very strong henge enhanced with Biju chakra to mask his very well-developed body, replaced with the body of a scrawny little kid. When Naruto raced into the academy in his usual loud fashion, everyone's head turned towards Naruto and they started laughing except for a couple of people. Well, actually, it was for different reasons. Not because they particularly like him. Shikamaru was sleeping, Choji was eating, and Hinata was just red. Naruto sighed while doing this, but, shut up, I'm going to be the next Hokage, so don't disrespect me. Yep, your lame jumpsuit's going to get you to Hokage and further, maybe into the dumps, Kid said. You probably can't even become a genin until next year or something. Haven't you failed this test 2 or 3 times already? Everyone be quiet, the teacher Iruka said using his trademark big head no jutsu. Everyone's attention was now turned towards the front of the room as Naruto took a spot in one of the empty chairs. The front was where there was the Chunin instructor for the year with his assistant. The main teacher was Iruka Amino, a pretty good teacher and probably one of the only people who didn't see Naruto as a demon. However, his assistant was probably basically the polar opposite when it came to dealing with Naruto. The assistant's teacher had a strong dislike for Naruto and would try and sabotage him any chance he got. In test, training, and teaching. His name was Mizuki and Naruto didn't like him one bit. Iruka started by saying, I'm so proud of all of your progress that you guys have made throughout the years that you were learning under my teachings. No matter what happens in the exams, I'm going to be proud of every single one of your guys. Yes, sensei. Everyone chorused together. Now, we're going to be going outside to do the taijutsu training. The class went outside to a clearing that was made specially for the academy students to train in and learn new taijutsu skills. Now, the test for this is pretty simple. If you can last 2 minutes against Mizuki-sensei here, you will pass. If you don't, you fail this portion of this test. If you pass 2 of the sections, you pass. If you don't, you fail. You know what the 3 sections of this test are, right? Yes, everyone said together. Fine then, each of you come up when I call your name and we will test you. Hideo Akado. The test went on and on as everyone except one student passed, and it was finally Naruto's turn to go and take the test. Naruto, Uzumaki, Iruka called out with what Naruto picked out as worry in his voice. Naruto went up to the clearing where Mizuki was while everyone else was laughing or gossiping about how they were going to witness the Dobi fail the test again. Naruto mentally sighed hearing all of the comments that were going on with his enhanced senses. Another plus of having a fox biju inside of your guts. I heard that, Kit. I know you really don't care that much about that. If anything, you're proud that I'm so strong thanks to you. I guess that's somewhat true, Kurama replied. Naruto snapped back into reality when he heard Iruka yell, "Start." Mizuki ran at him, which he had done with none of the other students. Mizuki attempted to sweep Naruto's legs from underneath him with a low sweep, but Naruto jumped over it and went in to kick Mizuki in the face with a drop kick. Mizuki quickly rolled out of the way as Naruto crashed into the ground with dust being riled up from the impact. Mizuki stood up surprised. What? This demon wasn't this strong before. Naruto stood up and smirked at Mizuki so only he could see. Mizuki was immediately angered and he charged Naruto without giving much consideration into the consequences. Mizuki continually attempted to attack Naruto, but Naruto dodged every single time. Then the time for the spar ended and Iruka yelled out, "Stop. The test is now over." Since Naruto was the last student that needed to be tested, everyone will go in now for the written test and the ninjutsu test. Everyone was still, well, shocked on the most part, seeing that Naruto was able to dodge their sensei's blows for 2 whole minutes and passing the test, but then again, miracles had to happen sometimes. They all thought that Naruto would fail both the written test and the ninjutsu test. When everyone had seated themselves once again in the classroom, Iruka and Mizuki handed out tests to everyone. Naruto saw his test and glared at Mizuki, which went unnoticed by everyone. His test had a genjutsu on it. What do I do now, Kurama? Play along. I sense a great deal of evil intentions rolling off of that man. It's different from the basic I hate the demon intention. Okay then. If you say so. Then Naruto went ahead and failed the writing portion of the test, giving all of the wrong answers to the questions in the way that Mizuki had probably wanted him to. When all of the tests were handed in, Iruka announced, "I'm once again proud of all of your guys. You have shown that you can be excellent shinobi throughout the year by showing your dedication to this career. Now, the last test will be the ninjutsu portion where you will perform the henge, bunshin, and kawarimi. We will call you to the next room one by one and you will come in the order that we call by and show us the 3 jutsu and anything else you wish to show us." Then the two left into the next room, taking Hideo Akado first again. Naruto was lucky that his last name was so far back in the alphabetical list. Then he wouldn't have to go first, and now he had a chance to talk to Kurama again. Naruto just laid his head back onto his desk in the fashion that Shikamaru did and drifted into his mindscape. He stared at Kurama asking, "What do you think Mizuki Teme is planning this time?" "Something involving you. Isn't that obvious? He always involves me when he is thinking of evil things to do. It sucks acting like I'm a dumbass. But it'll be hilarious when you see the people's faces when you see your true skills. Imagine that and bear through this." I know. You've said this like what? 1,000,000 times or something. I've got this covered. Oh well, at least there's something to look forward to, I guess." He continued to talk with Kurama about pointless things such as the importance of ramen in this world among many other things. Then his head snapped back up from his position when he heard someone yell into his ear, "Naruto, it's your turn, Dobi. Hurry up and go fail so I can go home." When Naruto looked up, he saw a girl with pink hair yelling at him. She had to be one of the most annoying people in the whole entire world. But freaking Kurama had to tell him to try and get this girl to go out with him, so they could put on a show of him being more of a Dobi. It was absolutely horrible. On the outsy grin on his face. "Okay, Sakura-chan. I'll go pass the test. Do you want to go on a date with me after the tests are over today?" "No." Then she bashed Naruto on the head, then left to fawn over the duck-haired emo. Yep, the emoest person in the whole entire classroom, Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto never understood what was so special about the kid, but every single girl absolutely loved him for some reason. Sure, he was pretty decent skill-wise for a genin, and he was the last Uchiha, but besides that there was nothing special about him. His whole entire clan had been murdered several years ago by his own brother, and since then Sasuke hadn't been the same. Naruto felt sympathy for the kid, but he didn't show it, nor did he care much. Compared to what he had gone through, it was a blessing that only his family was killed. He was hailed as a king-like person anyways, so Naruto didn't see why he was always so emo. Naruto sighed as he stood up, then left the room, acting as if he was really energetic for the test or something. Someone attempted to trip him while he was running down to the front doors of the classroom, and instinctively, he jumped over it. Naruto heard the kid grumble something about being lucky, then lay his head down to sleep. Naruto bolted out the front doors of the classroom, then went over to the next one across the hallway, where he saw Iruka-sensei and Mizuki Teme sitting in the front of the room while Naruto stood in the enter, which was clear of all desks and chairs. Iruka-sensei looked up at Naruto and smiled. The only true smile that Naruto would ever receive from one of the teachers in the academy. Naruto, now perform the 3 academy jutsus. Naruto nodded, then he performed the Kawarimi and the Henge. Then Naruto put as much chakra into the Bunshin jutsu as possible on purpose, and the result was one dead-looking clone. As much as Naruto would have loved to pass the test with flying colors, he still needed to know what Mizuki's intentions were. Iruka sighed. I'm sorry Naruto, but since you couldn't do a proper Bunshin, I guess you FAI. Now Iruka, he did manage to produce a clone even though it looks a little dead, Mizuki said, making Naruto's eyes slightly narrow. No, all the other students were able to produce at least 5 Bunshin, but the fact that Naruto can only produce this means that he fails. I'm sorry Naruto. Maybe next year, Iruka said with a sad smile. Naruto acted as if he was downtrodden, and then left the school, not wanting to see any of the other children, as they would surely make fun of him for failing once again. But in all honesty, Naruto only got out because he wanted to. School was too boring for Naruto anyways. If it weren't for Kurama, Naruto would have already been applying to become Chunin, or maybe Junin if they would accept him. Why not? They had accepted Kakashi as a Junin when he was 13 years old, so why not him who was 12? But stupid Kurama. I'm hearing everything. Shut up and stop mumbling about how everything in your life is a pain in the ass. Naruto did stop thinking about his life, but it didn't make his complaints go away. However much intelligent and mature Naruto was, he still had some childish aspects that he kept. So what do you plan on doing now? I can feel Mizuki coming close. I'll deal with him. I can handle this one, probably. And right on cue, Mizuki came flying from one of the roofs and he caught Naruto in the shoulders. Wait Naruto, let me talk to you. Naruto calmly replied, yes, what do you need Mizuki-sensei? Mizuki was surprised at Naruto's dark, yet calm tone and flinched slightly, but shrugged it off, thinking that it was because Naruto had failed that he was acting in this manner. Why don't we go talk somewhere where we can't be heard? I want to tell you a secret that will get you to pass the exam and make you become a genin. Naruto feigned a shocked look. Really? What do I have to do? I'll tell you when we are somewhere we can talk secretly. Okay. Mizuki led Naruto to a forest that had a calm yet eerie feeling to it. People had said that there was a mysterious spirit of something that was living in the woods, so people did tend to avoid the place, even though Naruto really didn't believe nor care about those stories. Now can you tell me what the way to pass the test is, Mizuki-sensei? Okay, so I know that you are pretty sad about failing the test, but there is another way that you can become a genin. I don't know why Iruka wouldn't tell you this. What is it? If you go into the Hokage Tower, there is a scroll in the Hokage's room that is labeled the Forbidden Scroll. Are you aware of it? Naruto caught on to what Mizuki was trying to do by saying this, but Naruto decided to play along for the time being. Yeah, I see it all the time when I go in there. Hokage Gigi always just told me that it was a scroll that had a couple of old village documents. Mizuki smiled sinisterly. Well, if you can get me that scroll and bring it here by the end of the day and learn one technique, you'll be able to pass. Naruto saw the possibilities in this situation. He could kill Mizuki and blame someone else, or get caught, or he could do what Mizuki asked. Do what the bastard says to do. Why? Because this is probably the only chance you'll get to look at the Forbidden Scroll without getting in trouble. See if there's anything useful in there. You're evil. I like it. This is a good opportunity, so I guess I'll do it. Good, well, I'm going to take a nap. Then Kurama went silent and Naruto focused his attention back to Mizuki. Okay, Mizuki-sensei, I'll do it. Good, remember, you only have a day so you'll have to make it quick. I know. Then Naruto dashed off into the village leaving Mizuki to think that he had fooled the little kid. Naruto ran through the trees with the forbidden scroll on his back until he found the clearing that he wanted to find. No way was he going to let Mizuki Teme get the scroll, but Naruto couldn't pass up a chance to look inside of the scroll that supposedly contained multiple strong jutsus. When Naruto reached the edge of the clearing, he leaned his back on one of the trees and unraveled the scroll. He scanned through the first section, not finding anything interesting to look at. Then he came upon an interesting seal that Naruto had never seen. He heard Kurama yelp in the back of his mind and asked, "What is it, Kurama?" "That seal, it can't be." Now Naruto was curious. "What is it?" Then he heard some rustling and Iruka-sensei came out heading into the clearing yelling out, "Naruto, what have you done?" Naruto chuckled. He tried to stand up to confront Iruka, quickly making up an excuse, but then he felt an immense pain in his whole entire body and he saw black everywhere.
When Naruto opened his eyes again, he saw gold. Gold, gold, and gold. Well, it wasn't actual gold of course, but the whole entire room was lit up in a gold hue. But this shouldn't have been it. Naruto had fixed Kurama's cage and it should have been a meadow of some sort.
Perhaps everything had been reset. Naruto looked towards the direction where Kurama's cage normally would have been, but found that nothing was there. Naruto widened his eyes in shock. "It's not there," Naruto mumbled. "Yes, it's not there because we are not inside of your mindscape," a mysterious voice said. It was definitely not Kurama's voice. Naruto turned towards the place the voice was coming from and asked, "Who are you?" Then when Naruto saw the old man that was floating, Naruto didn't know what to make out of the man. But when the man opened his eyes, Naruto immediately knew who that man was in front of him. "No way, yes, my name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki." But how? You're supposed to be dead, aren't you? You're supposed to be like, hundreds or even, thousands of years old. How can you still be here? And where are we?" Naruto yelled out. "First, I am not alive, I am just a manifestation of my chakra that I had left behind before I had died. I had instructed Shukaku, Matabi, Isobu, Son Goku, Kokuo, Seiken, Chom to find the one who would bring peace to the land and bring her here," Hagoromo explained. "Okay, so, does that mean I'm supposed to be the one to change the world? What am I supposed to change, and how am I supposed to change it? I'm only a genin after all. So what would I need to do?" Hagoromo sighed. "Do you feel truly happy while you are living in Konoha?" "What? I ask you, do you feel truly happy while you are living in Konoha?" Naruto tilted his head sideways in a confused manner. "What does that have to do with me changing the world?" "I would like you to answer the question. No, do you need me to explain?" "Yes, that would be nice." Naruto sighed. "Well, while I was young I still had hopes that maybe one day my skills and determination would somehow change the way that the villagers may have viewed me, but now, I don't believe it. I only exist to exist right now. That is it. I really don't have a purpose to live in Konoha. No one acknowledges me, and I do not truly feel happy while living in Konoha." That is the answer I wanted to hear. Naruto grew a little angry, but managed to rein in his thoughts before he did anything rash. "What do you mean? Is my suffering supposed to be what changed the world? Because if no, it's quite off what I was going to imply with that sentence." "Well, are you going to go on with what you were saying since you started whatever you were going to say?" "Yes, I guess I will, but first we need to complete some things, take care of some things, then I need to show you something, then we'll be done with all of the explanations," Naruto said impatiently. "Well, let's go then. First, Kurama must be brought here. I believe you do have a deep connection with him, correct, and you know how to partially use his power?" "Yes, then focus on bring some of Kurama's chakra into this plane and he will appear." Naruto looked at Hagoromo skeptically, but did what he was told to do by the sage. He concentrated and he could feel the familiar feeling of Kurama's chakra running through his chakra system. Then he heard it. There was a large grumbling noise that rang throughout the whole entire chamber, and when Naruto looked around him, he saw a gigantic construct beginning to form behind him. When the figure became more and more clear, Naruto recognized who it was. Kurama, what's up? Did anything happen in the real world? No, that's good. Well, I've just been talking to your father and stuff. Nothing, I guess. No matter what plane you're on, you're still a dumbass. You know that, Naruto? So I've heard. Hagoromo then coughed. Quite purposefully, and he had Kurama and Naruto's attention once again. Well, if you're done with the nice talk, let us begin with the more important things. The first thing we do need to regard and get out of our agenda is the activation of your bloodline, Naruto. Yes, Kurama's told me something about that. Do you know what my bloodline is? Yes, well, not exactly. There are many possible bloodlines that you could get. You could get the Sharingan if everything goes wrong. Or you could get the Mokuton, which is the second least best thing you could get. The second best thing would be the Rinnegan, so you would have cool eyes like me. The best would be the Rinne Sharingan, which was the Dujutsu possessed by my mother and Jubi. Naruto was shocked. The fact that he could get one of the most powerful bloodlines in existence was enough to make him jump up in joy. So, when are we unlocking my bloodline? Well, actually, first, I want to know why I haven't activated my bloodline any time during my lifetime. Sharingan is activated in a life or death situation. So, do you know why I didn't block it before now? Actually, yes. I am only telling you this. Even now, Kami-sama might kill me.
Naruto was thinking, what? Well, it was because it was the decision of the Council of Gods. When you were first born, Kami-sama saw that you had much potential of becoming one of the most dangerous people in the whole entire world. Not being able to decide what to do with all of the potential you had, she went to the Council of the Gods, and the final verdict was to seal away your bloodline that you would have gained from the Senju Uchiha blood.
Naruto was, well, shocked to say the least. I understand that I could get Senju blood due to the relation of the Uzumaki clan with the Senju clan, but the Uchiha? How did I get that? Ah, I've seen that you've done your research. Well, you see, the Namikaze is a closely related clan to the Uchiha. No matter what history had said, Madara was not the first person to be exiled from the Uchiha clan. Another man that came before Madara named Kakashi Uchiha was exiled from the clan as he did not awaken the Sharingan. Why didn't he awaken his Sharingan? Even the gods are not 100% sure of the reasoning behind this, but we believe that it was because his Uchiha blood was much too pure. Naruto was confused. Wouldn't that just have made his Sharingan stronger? Hagoromo shook his head. No, if you've done any research on the Sharingan, you would see that there is supposedly a curse. You can only awaken Sharingan under life or death situation or something like that, and only awaken the Mangekyo after killing someone that was close to you. So it would rather be the opposite. The more darker and sinister your Uchiha blood was, the more powerful your Sharingan would be. Well, that applies for the Uchiha anyways. I think I understand, but what is the Mangekyo Sharingan? It is the ultimate level of the original Sharingan that would essentially allow you to gain a tremendous amount of power. You would be able to use Amaterasu, which is a fire that can basically burn through anything, Tsukuyomi, which is an ultimate genjutsu, and Susanoo, which is an ultimate defense. Of course, there were individually special Mangekyo techniques, but those are the most common ones, Hagoromo explained. I see, so, well, what do we have to do to unlock my own bloodline? Oh, it's rather quite simple. A hand sign and lots of pain. Naruto's sweat dropped. If he can say that with the calm look that he has on right now, he is not mentally okay. But Naruto tried not to show his thoughts. After all, the guy was right in front of him. Okay then, I'm ready. Prepare for pain. Then Hagoromo formed a weird hand sign that Naruto did not recognize. Ten no Keto Shiru, Rarisu, Heavenly Bloodline Seal, Release. Then a gigantic world of pain came upon Naruto as his eyes felt like it was literally going to pop out of its sockets. Naruto fell onto the ground writhing in pain while he heard Hagoromo chuckling. Now Naruto was sure that that guy was not sane. Then the pain distracted Naruto once again. The pain, however, only lasted for about 3 minutes before it subsided. When the pain was gone, Naruto stumbled as he stood up. Then when he slowly opened his eyes to look at the sage, who was now once again calm, The sage sighed in what Naruto detected as relief. Naruto asked, well? Then a mirror materialized out of nowhere and Naruto saw his own reflection. There was a perfect Rinne Sharingan staring back at him with 3 tomo in each eye. Wow, so I got the Rinne Sharingan, huh? It would seem so. You have gotten the purest bloodline that I could think of, or unless you would rather consider it one of the most foulest, but I do not believe so. Hagoromo replied with a slight smile on his face. Well, that's great, but, well, I honestly don't know what I can do with these eyes, Naruto said.
Well, I have a couple of things that I would like to offer you, then perhaps that would give you more of an idea of what you could do with the powers that you now have. If you decide to accept my offer, I will train you in using your bloodline.
Great, what is your offer? Allow me to show you something, Hagoromo said before he waved the staff that he had. Then on one of the walls, a gigantic tree appeared where there were numerous green ones while there were 5 red ones. What are these 6 paths, Gigi? Narbut the sage held out his hand signaling Kurama to remain silent. These are what you would call dimension leaves. They signify the good and evil of the energy that is contained by every world. What? Naruto asked, confused about, well, the whole concept of the tree. Let's put it like this. Every single dimension or world has their own unique energy force that can be used by the people living there. In our world, there is chakra, but in other worlds, there are other powers that could be used to fight, or bring peace into this world. Do you understand? Yes, but what do the leaves signify? Each individual leaf signifies the purpose of which the energy is being used in that world. So, what does that mean? Naruto asked. Say that there was a great shinobi war going on. Then the leaf that signifies our world would turn red because of the evil intentions that chakra is being used for. So it goes the same with every other world. The ones that are currently red are the ones where the inhabitants of that world are using their energy with evil intentions. I see, so what is the point of letting me see this? Well, this is the offer. Do you remember how I had said you would be the one to change the world? I didn't say that it was the elemental nations. Naruto caught on to what he was saying. So, you want me to go to another dimension to help save that world, don't you? Yes, that is what I desire. The leaf that signifies the elemental nations is green. I want you to use your power to help another world. That world has turned red, the sage said with a firm and determined voice. What would I gain from doing this? There are many things that you will have to do that you may dislike. You may have to fight a war, or something, however, you will find that many people there will find you a person to become friends with, and to even love. I believe that you will find many great relationships in any of those worlds even during the chaos that you will be placed in. Naruto was seriously considering this now. Wait, then, would I be going to this world along with Naruto as well? Kurama asked. Yes, the connection that binds you with Naruto is much greater than the force that binds you to this current world. I suppose you only have your father to thank for this, Naruto. Hagoromo replied. I suppose I do. Well, so what do you say about this offer, Naruto? Hagoromo asked. I will take it. So do I leave now? No, Naruto looked at Hagoromo questioningly. What am I supposed to do then? Just go back to Konoha and wait till you want me to go? No, I want you to stay in this mindscape for 4 years and I'll train you. Naruto stood with his mouth agape. So, you, the sage of 6 paths, is offering to train me? Well, if I heard right, that is. Yes, you heard right. I am willing to train you for 4 years and then you will be sent to this new world. Well, it may be 3 depending on how fast you can learn and how fast your Rinne Sharingan matures. Naruto jumped in joy mentally. Yay! So, what'll we do back in Konoha? Nothing, but won't they try to come and find me once they realize that I'm gone? Hagoromo thought. No, what we'll do is erase your physical body from Konoha and bring it into this dimensional plane. That way we can work on your taijutsu and build your physical body as well. So what'll Konoha do once they realize that I've gone? Oh, I'm sure that they'll rampage around trying to find their Jinchuriki, but it won't matter to you, would it? Naruto thought about the people that cared about him. Do I get to say goodbye at all? I'll give you a letter, but that's it. Do not tell them anything specific. Make sure that you only tell them that you'll be going somewhere where you'll be happy. Okay, Hagoromo sighed. Write your letters now, deliver them discreetly. Then I'll pull you back here and we can get started with our training. Got it. Naruto, Kurama, and Hagoromo all had one thing in mind. It was going to be an interesting 3 or 4 years ahead of them. Naruto stood in front of Hagoromo with a cheerful smile while Hagoromo looked at Naruto with a small smile breaking out on his face. I never expected that you'd be at this level in 3 years, Naruto. Quite impressive. Naruto scratched the back of his head in embarrassment. Well, it's because I had a great teacher, that's all. Hagoromo smiled. It had been 3 years ago that Naruto had sent his letters saying that he would be in a happier place. Now, that happier place was where Naruto would be going to now, although he still had things to do in the happier place. 3 years Naruto had trained and trained. His Rinne Sharingan had matured to 6 tomo in each eye, and his ninjutsu arsenal was endless along with his chakra storage. Mixed with the chakra that he had from Kurama, one could say that his power was limitless, literally. Hagoromo said, in 3 years you went from average Junin to surpassing the creator of Ninshu. You're not serious, are you? There's no way I'm stronger than you, Gigi. It is true, you are stronger at this point, although, you still do have a small maturity problem. Naruto sighed. Although his power had risen to unspeakable levels, he still had a friendly aura around him which he was sure would help one day. Oh well, guess that's something that makes me special, right, Gigi? I suppose so. So, am I going to go now? Hagoromo nodded. It's time for you to go on your way. Alright, here we go. Kurama, you ready? The sleeping-tailed beast opened one eye and simply said, yeah. Hagoromo showed the tree again. The tree had changed a lot. While there weren't more red leaves, the locations where the red leaves were had shifted around. It seems when a conflict is resolved, another appears, Hagoromo said, sighing. So I just touch one of the red ones? Yes, although I don't know if you want a touch number. Too late. Naruto had already touched the red one that Hagoromo was going to say to not touch, but he did. With a flash of white, Naruto disappeared from the dimensional plane along with Kurama, and they were on their way to the new world. Did you hear about the new kid? Yeah, he's supposed to be really, really cute. Really? Now cute? They say he's almost about as cute as Kiba, Kya. Issei and his 2 friends Matsuda and Motohama grit their teeth. Issei thought, great, another new guy that's supposed to be really cute. Tears streamed down all 3 of their faces. Why must we suffer like this? Not only Kiba, but now another cute guy? The girls. They were all hit over the head with a book. The teacher came in and facepalmed as she saw the group named the Perverted Trio. As a teacher, it was disappointing and quite frightening to see 3 of her students become, well, not become, they are perverts. Standing in front of the class, I don't think they tell us the gender of the teacher, so let's just go with she, announced. Settle down, I'm sure you have already heard, but we have a new student in class today. The door at the front of the class slid open and a kid that was around 6 feet tall stepped in. All the girls started whispering to their neighbors and all the guys started fuming. I guess except for the ones that were pretty good looking themselves. The new guy had sun-kissed blonde hair, and he was ripped. Literally. The new kid's muscles were very well developed and you couldn't really see them, but you could make out the outline of every single muscle that was visible to the naked eye. The new student stood at the front of the school and introduced himself. Hello, I'm new to this school, so please help me out. My name's Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto's sweat dropped. It had been 4 months since he had arrived into this new world. He was lucky enough that they used the same language, although slightly different, so he wouldn't have to learn any other languages. I didn't take him long to get used to the new world. Although it was very different from the elemental nations, it was easy for him to read up on the new world, including, well, everything with his cage bunts in his mindscape, so that wasn't too bad. But the only thing that Naruto really didn't like about this new world was how much nature chakra there was. There was almost none. But besides that, everything else seemed okay. The people were nice to him, which was a major plus, and life was so peaceful in general, although Naruto suspected that it would all change. Obviously, or there would have been no point of him coming to this new dimension. Listening to the kids in his new class was torture. It seemed like everyone thought that he couldn't hear what they were saying, even though it was obvious that their voices were loud. Very loud. Wow, he's so cute. Do you think he'll go out with me? Kya. Damn him, he's going to take all the girls away. Why is it always us that must suffer? Naruto's sweat dropped. From the sounds of it, the only person that was going to suffer was him. The only reason that the other boys would suffer is because he would beat the living crap out of them if he caught them being perverts. But he just smiled, then when the teacher pointed him to a desk, he just went to that spot and sat down. They went around him and introduced themselves. Apparently the person that was sitting to his left was named Matsudo, and one in front of him was named Motohama, and the one to his right was named Issei. Naruto was interested. Before he came in, he had spread his energy lightly around the room, and found one interesting signature that showed up on his radar. It was another kid who he quickly learned was named Kiba. His energy was foul in a way, but at the same time it was very, very potential and pure. Interesting. So it seemed that there were other people within this school that had some sort of power. Finally, he was getting bored talking all day and night with powerless people. Then the day went on like a normal school day until lunch. During lunch he found Issei, Motohama, and Matsuda sitting outside of the girls' bathing building and was staring into some kind of hole in the wall. Naruto sighed. In any dimension, there were always perverts. Now, what to do? He couldn't let this crime go unpunished. Naruto grinned sadistically. Then he yelled, "Why are you three looking in the girls' bathing room?" Then he just fled before anyone could see him. After he got away, all he heard were the sounds of three boys getting beat up by a horde of girls. Naruto followed the three perverts as they fled to an old building that he recognized as the old schoolhouse. Yeah, it was really easy to know stuff when there were girls going around you 24/7, well, not quite. But at least for the first half of the school day. They followed around trying to teach him stuff, and now he's like, knew everything about the school. Literally, it was actually scary. He heard them talking, and his eyebrow twitched in irritation. Thanks you guys. Why'd you leave me there alone? Never mind that, did you get to see some breasts? No, I didn't get to see any. You guys just left me there behind. I couldn't even get a glimpse. If I did, it would have been less cruel. Then Issei looked up to the window of the old schoolhouse building. Naruto looked up to where he was looking and saw a red-haired girl at one of the windows in the second floor. I sensed someone inside earlier, but didn't think much of it. Now, I'm glad I sensed her. Naruto whistled silently. The girl at the window was a real beauty. Red hair, blue-green eyes, and everything about her was perfect. Naruto laughed silently on the inside. She could even be an Uzumaki with that dark shade of red hair. Naruto looked into the energy one more time, and found it somewhat similar to the one that he had felt within Kiba. Interesting, Naruto muttered, then he left after the girl had moved away from the window. The rest of the day went on with nothing special really happening. Naruto got all of the girls of the kendo club to smile when he asked, "Did you have fun beating up the pervs?" All the girls responded with a smile and a dreamy yes. A bunch of girls started to trail him after school and asked if Naruto wanted to hang out with them. Naruto just politely declined, saying that there were things that he had to take care of. Kiba. That's what he needed to take care of. He found Kiba with another group of girls that were asking if he wanted to go out to do something after school. Just like Naruto had, Kiba declined politely with a smile but thanked them for the offer. When the girls had disappeared, Naruto went up to Kiba and asked, "Hey, what are you doing after school today?" "Oh, hey Naruto. Well, I have a meeting for the Occult Research Club, so I do have to go. Thank you for the offer though." "I wasn't offering anything," Naruto said questioningly with a sweat drop. Kiba laughed nervously. "Sorry, I just get used to adding that at the end of my sentences when someone asks me something. Sorry about that." Naruto replied, "That's understandable, with all the attention that you're getting from the female population. Could say the same for you." The two just stood there for a while before breaking out into laughter. "Well, it was nice talking to you Naruto. I'll be going to the Occult Research Club meeting now. I don't want to be late." "Okay, oh by the way Kiba?" Kiba turned around. "Yeah? It'd be cool if I could join the Occult Research Club. It sounds fun." Kiba halted for a moment in his tracks. "Why would you want to join the Occult Research Club?" "I just hope there's more people like you." Kiba, hoping that he was just referring to cool, just nodded and said, "Yeah, that would be cool. See you Naruto." Naruto just waved back, but then in the back of his mind, he said, "There's something up about that club, isn't there, Kurama?"
Yes, there is. That child's energy is not normal. Also, there's a barrier that is set around that old building that you see Kiba walking towards. Hopefully we'll be able to check it out someday. Or anytime soon because, I have a feeling there's something big in that building that we're probably going to
need. Kurama replied. I suppose we'll just have to wait and see, won't we, Kurama? But I really hope that we don't have any more waiting to do. Months and months of boring and doing absolutely nothing out of the normal is tiring. Dumbass. Naruto's sweat dropped, but then just made his way back home to train more. Hopefully the next day would be more interesting. Although Naruto had a feeling that everything was going to get more interesting from that point on. The class was bustling with excitement. Well, not really. It was just that the atmosphere seemed really thick. He felt the glares of all of the male population minus Kiba glaring at him while he just smiled, trying to diffuse the situation. But his smile only served to make the situation worse. All of the girls let out a dreamy sigh, and then that just pissed off the male population even more. So, that just led to more and more anger and resentment growing between the male population and Naruto. He really didn't understand why the female population was fawning over him. In Konoha, he wouldn't get one look from the female population. Yet here, all he got was attention from the female population. What a pain in the ass. To think that he was actually jealous of Sasuke at one point. Shudders. The rest of the school day just went on like that. People fawning over him, and then other people just giving him glares and trying to intimidate him. Actually, there was one interesting part of the school day. During lunch, Matsuda, Motohama, and Issei tried to gang up on him on school grounds, in front of everyone. Needless to say, the fight was finished really quickly with 3 piled up and beaten up perverts, and 1 unscathed Naruto Uzumaki. 3-0. Now it was the end of the school day. All the girls were crowded with Kiba instead of him for once. Finally, he had some freedom. You're looking really nice today, ladies, Kiba said. No, you look better, a girl replied. Another girl muttered, sorry the room isn't cleaner. No, it's fine. Naruto saw Issei grit his teeth and just laughed, and the laughter subsided when he heard Kiba say, Issei-kun. Naruto was wondering what the blonde little pretty boy was doing now. I need you to come with me. Naruto perked his ears up and paid attention to the conversation, but unfortunately, there was none. He just heard the girls yell. No, Kiba-kun, don't do it. You'll catch pervert, you'll lose all your friends. Issei replied irritatedly, everyone just simmer down. I promise I won't drain his pimp juice. Then the two left, and the girls started to swarm around Naruto, but he stood up and politely told the girls that he had to leave, then left to follow the two. Leaving the main school building, he found the two walking towards the old schoolhouse. He caught up and asked, Yo, what's up, Kiba, and Issei-san, I guess. The two whirled around and Issei yelled, what do you mean I guess, huh? Ignoring Issei, Naruto asked, so, you going to another occult research club meeting, Kiba? With this perv? Yeah, President told me to bring this pervert. She asked me to do so urgently, so I must leave. See you, Naruto, Kiba replied. Then they made a move to leave Naruto, but Naruto quickly asked, hey, I asked about the occult research club yesterday. Do you think I could tag along? Just to see what it's about. Maybe I'll join the club if you guys let me. Kiba sighed, sorry Naruto, as much as I would let you join, you need special requirements to join, so. You mean you need people like you, don't you? Kiba froze. Precisely. Fine. Come along, Naruto. Issei protested, really? You're letting this douche shut up, Kiba said coldly, and Issei retreated. Whoa, he had never seen Kiba this cold before. Then the three just continued walking to the old schoolhouse building without a word passing between the three of them. Entering the schoolhouse building, they went upstairs and through double doors and went to what seemed like a gigantic lounge. There were candles, and the place had a really dark feeling to it. Fits the name Occult Research Club. There was only one single person occupying the room. They were sitting on the couch munching on a bar of chocolate. I know her, Issei muttered, and Kiba said, oh, do you? Kaneko-chan here is one of the members of the orc. Hey Kaneko-chan, Issei-kun here says that he might know you. Munch. The girl named Kaneko didn't reply. Meanwhile, going through Issei's mind was, man, way to go Kiba. Who doesn't know her? Her body is like. Then Naruto just smacked Issei across the head, making him fall to the ground. Kiba asked, what was that for? Naruto merely replied, no perverted thoughts Issei. Sweat dropping, Kiba just sighed and then leaned against the doors that they had come through. That was when Naruto and Issei first heard it, running water. They looked for the source of running water and found a shower connected right to the room. Issei looked like he was going to blow from excitement, and it took Naruto stomping him face onto the floor for him to lose that look. It was most likely because he went unconscious, but, oh well. Hopefully the president didn't care. Then another person stepped into the room, and then, she said, President, your clothes are ready for you when you're done. Thank you, came the reply from inside the shower. Then the newcomer turned her head to Naruto and Kiba, and her face lightened up. The newcomer was another beauty that could compare to the red-haired one that was currently in the shower. Naruto smiled. He just realized who the president of this club was. It had to have been the girl that he saw in the abandoned school building yesterday. She had jet black hair that reached down to her legs and a magnificent figure overall. Oh hello there, she started, but then she trailed off. She continued saying, Kiba-kun, I thought you were only supposed to bring Issei, who's this?
Naruto responded. The name's Naruto Uzumaki. You could say that I just followed along because I was wondering what the orc was all about. You see, I'm into occult things as well, so I was just wondering out of curiosity.
Naruto could see that the newcomer was just looking at Kiba with a disbelieving face, and Kiba was just looking away. But she responded, nice to meet you. My name's Akeno Hamejima, what a lovely name. Nice to meet you Akeno-san. Then everyone went silent as the shower went off and someone stepped out. Naruto was right. It was the red-haired beauty that he had seen just yesterday. Wearing a smile with her eyes closed, she said, sorry it took so long. I didn't get to wash off before I left. Then just like Akeno, she trailed off when she saw Naruto standing in the room besides an unconscious Issei. Then everyone went silent. Naruto was the one to break the silence. If you're wondering at all, my name's Naruto Uzumaki. And before this arrow Baka comes back to consciousness, I'd like to talk to you all about the strange energy radiating from all of you, including this Baka down here, he said, pointing down to the unconscious Issei. The red-haired girl looked surprised, but smiled nonetheless. How blunt of you to point this out. That's fine, but we'll have to talk about it after Issei leaves. Is that alright with you, Naruto-san? Yes, that's fine, that's good. By the way, my name is Rias Gremory. It's nice to meet you, Naruto-san. It's nice to meet you as well. Rias sighed. Now that we've got the introductions out of the way, can we please wake up Issei? How are we going to do that without killing him? All the people present minus Naruto asked. Bring some water, Rias ordered, sighing. I've got it, Naruto replied. With one hand sign Naruto muttered, Sweeten no jutsu. And one small bullet of water came out and hit Issei in the face. Issei woke up with a gasp. What? No, don't hit me. I'm not a perv. Yes you are, Naruto replied, bringing sweat drops from everyone. Then everyone took their place. Issei sat by Kaneko, and Akeno sat with Kiba. Rias sat at the desk facing the two couches. There were no more seats. Kiba offered his, and Naruto just waved his hand. Masking his Rinne Sharingan under Genjutsu, Naruto activated it and lifted himself off the ground and just laid down, on thin air, 3 feet off the ground. Everyone just looked at Naruto dumbfounded. Naruto just questioningly said, what? Never seen a person levitate off the ground before. Rias just muttered, not even going to ask, then turned her focus to Issei. I'd like to welcome you formally to the orc, but you know that name's only a front. It's supposed to look like this is a hobby. Okay, then what is it really? I'll be frank with you, Issei. I'm not the only devil here. Issei looked dumbfounded. Is that what all of you are? He asked, looking at everyone. Naruto spoke in saying, hey, this is my first time hearing this too, so nah. Well, at least not yet. Yes, Naruto is an interesting case. This is my first time meeting him, Rias replied. Okay, so now what? You know that man we met in the morning, Issei? The one that tried to kill you? Yeah, what about him? He was freaky and wanted to kill me. Rias chuckled lightly. He's something different, he's a fallen angel. Everyone remained silent as Issei and Naruto was taking in the new information. Rias continued speaking. Many think of us the same, but that's not necessarily true. Fallen angels want to serve God, but it's too late for them. Their dark emotions have forced them into the underworld. The confusion is understandable since they too walk the earth misguiding humans, but they still wish to please God, which is why their goal is to wipe us devils out. Then they're the obvious angels that are sent down from God that are trying to defeat us as well, so we're constantly trying to defend ourselves from both sides. Issei just looked like he was a lost child while Naruto was thinking, Kurama, do you think this is the conflict that we are meant to resolve? Most likely. They're devils, fallen angels, and regular angels in a battle royale. Seems like our conflict to me, Kurama replied. Yay, I always wanted to fight. You think I'll get any? Doubtful. None of these signatures here are any strong. They're miles and miles behind you. They can't even start to compare to you. So I won't get any good fights? Yeah, probably. Naruto started to stream tears. Everyone that was looking at Naruto just sweat dropped as they saw tears just randomly streaming down the blonde's face. Naruto opened his eyes and wiped his tears away. Oh no, don't mind me, finish your conversation. We're done, Rias said, and Naruto looked. The 4 original orc members were standing at the front of the room with their bat-like wings stretched out, and Issei was staring at them with a shocked expression while having his own set of wings sprouting from his back. Nice wings, Naruto said smiling. Issei just whipped around and looked at Naruto sharply. How are you not surprised by this, Naruto? I've seen weirder crap in my lifetime, was all Naruto said. Everyone looked at him in curiosity, but didn't say anything in reply. Rias called Issei to her desk. Here's your first assignment as my servant. Issei left the room, leaving 4 original orc members and Naruto in the room. The mood got very serious. Who are you? Rias asked. My name's Naruto Uzumaki. What else? I mean, what are you? Are you a fallen angel, devil, angel? I am neither of those things. For now, I'm human. No one seemed to believe it. Look, if you're that doubtful, search me for any sort of devil or holy energy, Naruto said. Everyone seemed to be concentrating, then they widened their eyes in surprise. Rias was the only to speak. You're right, you don't have any holy or devil energy within you. But you do have this different energy source, and it's massive, almost as much as a high-class devil. Naruto scoffed on the inside. You're right, Kurama. If they think 5% of my chakra supply is about the level of a high class in their civilization, they're weak, but yay, I'm strong so I can defeat any opponent. Dumbass Naruto sweat dropped. Then Rias just put a finger to her chin and muttered, I see, Naruto-san, I have an offer for you. What is it? Naruto asked interested. I want you to become a part of my peerage. Naruto was dumbfounded and confused. What's a peerage? You weren't listening when I was talking, were you? Rias asked. No, I lost you after the war thing. Rias sighed. Basically, all mature devils have a peerage, which is basically their own group of servants. They're based off of chess pieces like these. Rias took out something from her desk. It was a small chess piece. It was a pawn. So, what about these? What happens is one person is assigned to each one. However, if the person contains too much power for one piece, you need to use more of the same to enter the chess pieces into them. In some cases, the pieces mutate and turn red, which then signifies that the person you are trying to get into your peerage is really, really powerful. But that's very rare and doesn't happen much, Rias explained. I see, so, what does being in a peerage mean? Well, basically it means that you are my servant. You gain devil wings and devil powers. So you want me as something like a slave? No, you're terribly mistaken. I treat all of the people in my peerage like family. Naruto perked up when he heard the family, but then sighed. As much as I would love to join your peerage, I'm afraid that I must decline. Rias sighed. May I know the reasoning for this? While the offer is interesting and I would love to have people that would consider me as family, I'm afraid that it wouldn't work. If the chess pieces are meant to work based on the power that I contain currently, it wouldn't work. How many pieces do you have left? 3. A rook, knight, and a bishop. Naruto sighed. Yeah, it wouldn't be enough, but I thank you for the offer. Rias sighed. Oh, well, I guess I tried. Yes, but I wouldn't mind if you explained the current situation between the three factions. I guess it couldn't hurt to tell you some more stuff. Naruto mentally just said, okay. So after the war of the three factions, we're still at each other's necks. Fallen angels are trying to kill any stray devil they might find, and the angels are doing just the same. Some of the crazier exorcists make it a job to purge the land of any kind of devil whatsoever. So basically you're having the normal aftermath of a war, basically. Naruto looked in curiosity. So I don't understand. You said that you had sort of a situation, but I don't understand what situation you have. From what you're saying it just sounds like you're dealing with a basic aftermath of war. You're right, but the devils are near extinction. Our race does not have that many pure-blooded devils left, which is why the evil pieces were created. Naruto's sweat dropped. I still don't see the point. I suppose there isn't really a point to this, but I guess I just wanted to explain what has happened in history and what is happening now. That seems fair enough. Well, then is there anything else that you would like to tell me? Rias entered a thinking pose. No, there isn't anything else. But I would like to know if we have your support for the things that we do. Naruto thought. Maybe, we can't. What do you mean that we can't, Kurama? If you say that we're going to bring peace to this world, we can't be allied to one faction. We have to be neutral. So we can help, but we really can't get involved with them too much. Which is another reason not to join her peerage. Also, why would you want to work under someone? You have enough power to crush every single one of these people with just a flare of your full chakra. I guess that's true. Fine then. I'll be working from within the shadows. That's all I can tell you. Sighing, Rias ran a hand through her hair. I see, then, I suppose we're done here. I suppose we are. Rias pointed towards the door. Akeno, take Naruto-san and escort him outside. Naruto stood up. It'll be fine. I'll see myself out. Then standing up, Naruto walked out of the room. When he stepped outside the room, he heard them talking once again. I wish I could have had him in my peerage. It would have helped so much, Rias muttered. Akeno's voice replied, I suppose you can't have everything now, can you? I suppose not. Naruto sighed. Everything is so complicated these days. Why couldn't he just live a normal life? Because you were sent here to save the world and not live a normal life. That's probably why. You don't say? Whatever. I'm going back to sleep. Go ahead, Furball, but I feel like things are going to get interesting from now on. Naruto didn't hear a response and just smiled. Putting up a familiar cross sign, he muttered, Shadow Clone Jutsu, and a shadow clone of him appeared. I want you to put up a henge and listen in and make sure that you report on everything this group does. You understand? Got it, boss. Sighing, Naruto smiled and then left the building while his shadow clone hanged into an insect and found a spot right above the door. Finally, things were changing. It had been days and days without anything going on. Naruto had kept the hinged shadow clone on the orc to make sure that they were safe and sound. After all, Naruto would hate it if his new acquaintances got injured or was placed in a bad situation. But for now, it seemed like everything that was happening to them were currently things that they could handle on their own. So Naruto had some off time to relax. Well, not necessarily. He did have to train too. Yubaka. It doesn't matter if you train more. You'll still be the most powerful person on this planet. But it never hurts to be ready, right? Idiot. Whatever, Furball. I'm going to sleep. Of course you are. Then Naruto heard light snoring and knew that Kurama had gone off to sleep. Naruto sighed. There were times where he just wanted to rip the throat out of Kurama. But then there were the times where he could be such an adorable fox. Whatever. Kurama can live. It was actually almost getting boring. There wasn't anything to do. Hey, you have 3 minutes to get to school. Naruto froze. He slowly turned his head towards his clock and cursed. Kurama was right. There were 3 minutes. Quickly running out with his backpack, he pondered his options, then deciding to make a daring move, he left up to the roof of his house and started hopping from rooftop to rooftop. Not that anyone could see, of course. To everyone else, he was just a blur that could have just been a trick of the eyes. Making it barely in time, Naruto sat down in his chair sighing. Barely made it one time, he whispered. Then he noticed 2 or 3 things. 1. Issei and Kiba had a down look on their face. Naruto intended to find out why. Naruto mentally ordered the clone that was trailing the orc to disappear. He could hear a slight pop in the room. Seriously, the clone was trailing Issei. Well, or Kiba. Kiba would be the better option though. Issei didn't seem to matter much. Then Naruto reeled back in shock from the knowledge he had received. Naruto processed through it all through a mild headache. Okay, so they did a little devil hunting, friend saving, and killing fallen angels. But then they ran into this Rise Phoenix douche and got defeated in a raiding game. Although, by the looks of it, Riser isn't that strong. Then he mentally backtracked until he saw an image of a stunning-looking silver-haired woman that seemed to be involved with this matter. Naruto mentally whistled. Whoa, and I thought Rias was the most beautiful. Wow, that silver-haired woman is the real deal. I thought you weren't a perv. I'm not, but you've got to admit Kurama, that woman is like a goddess. Searching through the clone's memory just a little more, he found out the name of the lady and the position she held. So Graphia Lucifuge. Seems that she doesn't have anyone as her partner. Well, for now. Thought you weren't a perv. I'm not. She's just beautiful. Also, she doesn't have anyone. It's perfect. During the whole entire school day, all Naruto could think about was the silver-haired woman that he had seen through his clone's memories. Then the end of the school day came really quickly. Immediately, he was approached by Issei. Naruto-san, please, help you bust Rias out of this marriage. Issei looked stunned. How did you? Don't ask. I want to know why you want to break her out of this marriage so much. I mean, you guys did lose fair and square. I'm not going to ask how you know that, but please, help me. It's not fair that Rias has to go and marry some jerk that's a douche. Also, the game wasn't fair. It was 5 against 16. Well, I guess that's true, but I still don't see how we're going to bust her out of this, and why I should do it. Issei went on his knees. Naruto's eyes widened. Please Naruto-san, help me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to believe that I alone will be able to break her out of this, but I don't believe in myself anymore. I know you're strong enough. Help me. Naruto sighed. What do you plan on doing if you do manage to crush the party? What are you going to do then? I was thinking that maybe I could challenge Phoenix and just beat him for the freedom of Rias. Ooh, finally, a chance. This might be fun. What do you say, Kurama? A fight? After so many months of waiting? Yeah. Let's do it, Naruto. At this point, I myself don't care if we're exposed to the world. We need a fight. Naruto smiled, confusing Issei. You're in luck. I really don't feel like helping you. How am I lucky? You didn't let me finish. Issei face flushed red. Oh, sorry. While I really don't want to help you, I've got to admit, I hate the Phoenix douche. Reminds me of someone I don't like. Also, I'm aching for a good fight. I'll go and help you on one condition. What? Naruto smirked. I'm going to be the one to fight Riser. Silence reigned for 10 seconds before Issei timidly said, but I wanted to. Be the hero? Stop joking. Based on the power you possess, you still can't defeat him. You let me fight Riser, or I don't go. Issei looked deep in thought. Fine, but you better not screw up, Naruto. Fine, I won't. So how are we getting to the underworld? Issei sweat dropped. I really haven't thought about that yet. Naruto facepalmed. Of course you haven't thought of it. Here, let's go to your house and think about this. Got it. No. Naruto grabbed his ears in pain. He looked toward the origin of the sound and found a horde of girls just covering their mouths with their hands while shaking their head really slowly. What seems to be the matter, girls? Naruto asked, smiling. Don't go with him, Naruto-kun. You'll catch his pervertedness. Naruto gave off one of his brilliant smiles. Oh, don't worry, ladies. I'll be going to tame his pervertedness. Don't worry about me. Thank you for the concern though. All of the girls sighed a dreamy sigh. Issei yelled, Hey, what do you mean you're going to tame? Naruto grabbed Issei, covered his mouth, and ran. Only a trail of dust could be seen where Naruto had been running. All the girls' sweat dropped. Oh okay, bye Naruto-kun. Currently, Naruto and Issei were sitting down in Issei's room thinking. How could they go to the underworld and save Rias from her own wedding? I know, it sounds really weird, but that's what they were doing here. Normally, Naruto would be able to just rip through the dimensions and go to the underworld, but he didn't know what or where to look for, so that idea went down the drain. While they were considering their options, time was running out. They were considering asking the other devils of the orc to help, but then soon realized that they would already be at the party. They didn't time to waste. But then it soon became dark. Issei yelled out in frustration as tears started to flow down his cheeks. What use is it if I've got a powerful person right besides my side? We can't even go to where Rias is now that we don't have a method of getting there. Naruto sighed. He was right. Most likely, the most powerful person in their whole entire world was right besides them, yet they couldn't do anything just because they couldn't find their way to the underworld. All hope seemed lost and they were just about ready to give up when they saw a bright light filled the whole entire room, and from that light stepped out a very familiar silver-haired woman. Graphia, Naruto whispered, and the woman turned to look at him. Hello, it seems that you already know my name, but I do not know yours, she said monotonously. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. It's very nice to meet you. After all, it's not every day that you meet someone that's as beautiful as you. A small tingle of pink started to appear on Graphia's cheeks. All Graphia was thinking was, why am I acting like this? Calm down, remember, you promised that you wouldn't go for anyone else after what happened between you and Lucifer-sama. Graphia just calmly answered, pleasure to meet you as well, although, I am here to talk to Issei Hyodo. He's that crying heap you see right there, Naruto said, pointing to Issei. Nodding, Graphia said, would you please leave the room, Naruto-san? This is a private conversation. Is it about the marriage? Naruto asked bluntly, and Graphia showed no outside reaction. On the inside was a different matter. Yes it is. Seeing that you know, I suppose you can stay. Okay, Naruto said, just a little bit confused. Issei Hyodo, my master Seer's ex-Lucifer, brother to Rias Gremory, told me this and told me to give this to you. Graphia handed Issei a piece of paper. What is it? Issei asked. It's a summoning circle that will take you directly to the party. Basically an invitation letter. Why are you, also, he told me to tell you, if you want my sister back, you better be ready to fight. Widening his eyes, Issei shook, then grinned, I see. But then his smile turned into a frown. I know I can't do it. Graphia frowned. What do you mean? I'm too weak. The only reason that Rias was placed into this situation in the first Placio week to stop Riser during the raiding games. You have lost hope? Number not lose hope. I just came to the realization that I can't stop Rias from getting married. Once again Graphia frowned. Here I thought that we could believe in you to stop this from happening. Goodbye, Issei Hyodo. Then she turned around but stopped when she heard Issei yell, I wasn't done talking. What else do you have to say? It seems as if you've given up. There's nothing that we can do at this point if the Red Dragon Emperor has given up. Issei smirked. I know I'm too weak. I'm inexperienced, and even with the knowledge that my friends have given me, I still don't completely believe in myself. Which is why I'm glad I have a friend that can kick Riser's ass into next week. Then Issei looked at Naruto. Naruto, make sure to kick Riser's ass for me. Graphia looked in confusion. What do you mean? You don't believe that this human can defeat a high-class devil, do you? Naruto spoke up. This human is stronger than you think. Graphia looked unconvinced, but didn't question Naruto any further. She just shook her head. She was going to speak, but was stopped when a finger was placed on top of her mouth, preventing her from speaking. The finger belonging to one Naruto Uzumaki, who was smiling. You don't need to say anymore. I think you should go back. Hope you'll find our show entertaining. Please keep this a secret though. Graphia remained confused, but she nodded. Then she started to glow in a white light. Before she could go back to the underworld, she heard, hope I will be able to meet you again. Graphia let out a small smile, although no one could see. Then she disappeared. Naruto was about to yell something cool, but the door crashed open and a blonde-haired girl revealed herself. Issei. Then the blonde-haired girl just tackled Issei onto the bed. All the meanwhile crying during the process. I was so worried about you and oh. Hello Naruto-san. Hello there Asia. Naruto replied. They had met at school about a week or two ago. Naruto had found her nice personality somewhat soothing. Of course, he knew what she was. What are you doing here, Naruto-san? Oh, I'm just helping Issei do something. Issei, you wanna explain? Issei nodded. I'm going to save Rias. What? That's too dangerous, Asia cried. I know, but I know that she'd do the same for me. Naruto sighed. It's his decision. Also, he really won't be doing anything. He'll just be there so I can use him as an excuse, so he can prove that he'll do anything to save Rias. Oh, I see, Asia said. Then let me come with you. Naruto and Issei both looked at each other before saying together, no. Why not? Asia complained. It's far too dangerous for you to be there. Especially since you were a holy maiden. It might not go so well with the other devils. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. Issei smiled. Glad you understand, Asia. Then, we'll be off. The thing that I asked you for? I'll get it. No, I won't need it. Asia looked back with a shocked look on her face. Why not? Because this guy here's going to be doing the fighting. Asia widened her eyes, then bowed. Naruto-san, please take good care of Issei, and bring back Rias-sama. I will. Asia then hesitantly leaned in towards Issei, planted a small kiss on his right cheek, then left the room with her face red as a tomato. Thank you, Issei said seemingly into thin air. Then he turned to see a grinning Naruto. Naruto yelled, let's go crash an engagement party. I still don't see why I have to wear a wedding dress. It's an engagement party. Rias said, annoyed by the fact that Riser had forced her to wear the dress that was currently on her. A flame appeared near the center of the room and Riser stepped out. The maid beside her protested, no males are allowed in here. Riser just needs a word with his lady and he will be off. What do you want, Riser? Also, I still don't see the point of me wearing this dress. Riser believes that his lady should look distinguished for the high-class devils that are here to celebrate our union. That is all. You will have a much finer dress for the actual wedding. A dress made of flaming feathers. Then he just left laughing. Rias looked at the ceiling dumbfoundedly. Seriously? A dress of flaming feathers? I'd better off going and killing myself. Rias sighed. Issei, Riser appeared at the front of the ballroom with a flash of fire and a cry that sounded like a bird. Greetings, renowned devils of the underworld. On behalf of the House of Phoenix, Riser would like to thank each and every one of you for coming today. This is a historic moment for the world devils, and I want the dear guests to be the first to know. Two great dynasties are about to become one. Lord Riser of the Phoenix clan shall wed Lady Rias of illustrious House of Gremory. Riser pointed his hand to a blank space near the front. Now, I would like to present to you, my bride. Rias slowly appeared from a magic circle with an annoyed expression when the door suddenly burst open. Two guards walked in. Well, no, that wouldn't be correct. Two guards were dragged in, were tossed onto the floor. Delivery of two douchebags. Hope you enjoy it. Rias, Kiba, Akeno, and Kaneko all widened their eyes and muttered, Naruto. Naruto, Rias yelled, what are you doing here? You need to get out now. Ma, stop yelling. It's hurting my ears. Also, what does it look like I'm doing? I'm crashing an engagement party and I'm trying to stop the engagement. What else could I be doing here? What? Murmurs started to spread throughout the whole entire hall. Naruto put his hands up. Hey, don't go and antagonize me. It was this baka who made me do this crap. Out from the wide-open double doors came out Issei holding two more guards. Yo, I'm done here, Naruto. Good job. Throw them on top of these two. Let's play stack the guards. Everyone's sweat dropped at the obviously relaxed tone of Naruto. That was not how a party crasher should be acting. Riser would have none of that. Who are you? Moreover, what are you and what business do you have interrupting a historic moment of noble devils? Naruto just smiled eerily, giving everyone in the hall shivers. Imagine Orochimaru's smile and voice. Well, I'll answer your questions, one by one. 1. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. 2. I'm human. Everyone gasped. Naruto grinned on the inside. Nothing like riling up a crowd and sending them into disbelief. 3. Didn't I already say? I'm here to stop this engagement. Riser fumed. Guards. 8 more guards appeared and Naruto got ready to get rid of them, but 3 blurs appeared and took care of them. Naruto closed his eyes and sighed. Thank for taking care of them, Akeno, Kaneko, and Kiba. No problem. Don't know why you're here, but if you're here to save Rias-chan, go. Akaino yelled and Naruto sweat dropped. Then Naruto made his way to each of the guards and everyone tensed preparing for a murder. Naruto, don't, but then everyone sweat dropped. Naruto wasn't going for a kill. No, it was far from it. He was carrying 2 guards at the time, and, whirr. Issei facepalmed. I'm a pervert, but I'm not this bad at bad timing. Naruto, stop stacking those guards. Naruto turned to him, I'll be done really quickly. Just wait. Everyone sweat dropped again. Then protests erupted from behind Riser. Lord Riser, is this your doing? Lord Riser, what is the meaning of this? A new voice cut in. It's just some entertainment that I've prepared. Issei looked up and asked, who's that? He looks hardcore, Rias whispered, brother. The great devil Lucifer. Issei watched in amazement. Wow, so that's your brother? Riser balled a fist up and held it out towards Lucifer. What is the meaning of this? What do you mean by entertainment? Now Riser, I watched your rating game, and I can't help but feel, what do I say? Underwhelmed. Your performance was quite disgraceful. Not what I expected from you. You were nearly beat by a first-time player, and then were almost defeated by a first. Our family is disappointed due to the results. Through gritted teeth, Riser answered, it's the end result that actually matters, my lord. In the past, that is. The games don't necessarily mean what they used to. So what are you trying to say? Can't say your family is proud of you, Riser. I think you should be given another chance. Besides, we don't have celebrations like these every day. This party could use some flair. Don't you agree? You there? Issei and Naruto both answered, me? The one with the red gauntlet. I believe you are the Red Dragon Emperor? Yeah, but I would like to see you fight. In all truths, many here are eager to see what kind of power you possess. You see, hello there. It's nice to know that I'm still being acknowledged. Everyone turned their head towards the speaker. Naruto waved back. Hello there. Lucifer gave a slight smile. Who might you be? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. Who are you? I am the great devil Lucifer. I am one of the great 4 Satans who rule over the devils and the underworld. Naruto narrowed his eyes. I see, Kurama, give me energy levels. I'd say around 12% of your energy capacity. You're kidding, right? So I could defeat that guy if I wanted to? With ease. Naruto stared at the man. So, what is this all about? Well, I was going to offer Riser a second chance to fight Hyodo-kun here. For the rating games. You see, during the rating games. I know. Riser was a complete douche and only won because he had his flames. I don't know what's more pathetic. His lack of skill, or the stick that's shoved so far up his ass. The whole hall was soon filled with gasps and talking. One snap from Lucifer was all it took for the hall to become silent. Your choice of words is interesting, but I suppose it does describe what happened during the games. Thank you for agreeing. Makes it more truthful. Although, it's true anyways regardless if you agree. Lucifer looked at the boy in front of him curiously. Looking into the boy's eyes, he could see power, and power. This boy was made for combat. Interesting. Well, Naruto-kun, however much it is a pleasure to meet you, I was going to see if Hyodo-kun wanted to. I will be the one fighting Riser. Naruto calmly stated, sending the hall into another fit of murmurs and gasps. Naruto grinned. After all, that's the reason that I came to this place in the first place. Riser scoffed. You wish to fight the great Riser? You are foolish. Turning to Lucifer, Riser said, my lord, if you permit, I will fight this human. Lucifer seemingly entered a deep thought. I agree. You may fight this human. However, if he comes out victorious, he will get whatever he desires. Turning towards Naruto, he asked, what do you wish for, human? Power? A beautiful woman? Money? Honor? A title? Speak, and you shall receive. Hey, what I want is for Rias Gremory to be free of this engagement and be allowed to choose whomever she wants to be her partner for life. I see, your wish will be granted when you come out victorious. Only a few caught the way that he worded his words, them being Akaino, Kiba, Kaneko, Rias, Naruto, and surprisingly, Issei. They were all thinking the same thing. He said when, not if. Sue, where's this all going down? Naruto asked, scratching the back of his head, and Lucifer snapped his fingers. Naruto looked all around him. It seemed to be some sort of alternate dimension if he was right, but he could still feel the energy signature of the people that were at the party, so they must have created this area near the ballroom that they were previously in. Riser was also there, facing Naruto from the opposite side of what looked like a small arena. Are you ready to die, human? Don't worry, Riser will make it quick and painless for you. Then Riser sprouted what looked like phoenix wings and charged him from the air. Naruto was about to tear his hair out. Riser was so goddamn slow. Even a genin could move faster than this guy was moving. It seemed to take forever for Riser to get to where he was. Covering his hand in fire, Riser punched at Naruto only for him to disappear into thin air. Back here, Riser. Riser whipped his head around only to be met with a fist to his face. Riser went flying back until he hit the ground hard, leaving a trail of smoke where he was flung. You're weak, Riser. There's nothing special about you. Riser stood up. Don't you dare mock me, human. RRAGH. Unleashing a gigantic torrent of fire from his body, he unleashed it at Naruto, who just stood there. Boom! The fire crashed into Naruto, leaving a burning smoke where he once stood. Naruto! Cried out all the people in Riasa's peerage. Riser smirked. Ha, I knew a human like you could never compare to my nice fires. Riser whipped around to the voice and his eyes widened. You should be dead. Well, I'm not, so let's dance, Riser. Riser roared in anger. He charged Naruto once again, trying to land a blow on the blonde human. Naruto smirked. He decided to have a little more fun. Naruto put a mock face of terror, all the meanwhile dodging Riser's attacks. Oh, this power, it's overwhelming, isn't human? It's disgusting, so tainted. Well, I suppose that's what happens when the owner of the power has a gigantic stick up his ass. You will die. Riser started to attack blindly, not giving a second thought to common sense and tactics. Naruto scoffed as he dodged every single one of the attacks with ease. I don't understand why the Gremory family wanted to wed off Rias to a douche like you. You don't even have any sort of skill whatsoever. You're like an impaired monkey trying to fight. Anger is what drove Riser. What did you even hope to accomplish, Riser? You already have a harem. You just wanted another person to your collection, don't you? You really don't care about Rias. Riser stopped, then grinned maniacally. Of course I don't care about Rias Gremory. The only thing I care about is her luscious body. Who gives a crap about the person themselves? It's the figure that counts, Uzumaki. Naruto lowered his head, covering his eyes with his blonde bangs. I thought so. Now I won't regret doing this. Naruto, I am. That douche is so dead. Naruto calmly just stared at Riser before taking his shirt off, which made the whole female population that was watching blush madly. What are you doing, peasant? Riser demanded. Looking closer at his body, everyone could see that there were 9 tattoos that were placed in some kind of pattern. You see these, Riser? Do you know what they do? Yes, they symbolize all the places I can stab you and kill you. Power. An enormous pressure crashed down on top of Riser and he could barely stand. What is this power? Naruto calmly stared at Riser. You see, these aren't just normal tattoos. They're seals. Guess what they're designed to do? Everyone was now listening in as close as they could, wanting to hear what they were for. Everyone down in the ballroom could feel the power that Naruto was emitting from another dimension. Riser looked at Naruto. So that's what they're designed to do. That's where you get this power. What a cowardly tactic. Naruto smirked. Riser, I'll give you half credit for that answer. But sadly for you, these seals are meant to do quite the opposite. Everyone's eyes widened. You see, these tattoos, each of them seals off 10% of my power. So do the math, Riser. Guess how much of my power is sealed away right now? Guess. Riser did the math, and he paled. All of the people that were watching the fight paled as well. Stammering, Riser answered, NNNN99. Tai. Naruto smiled. That's right. So, you see, there are some kinds of people that I absolutely despise in this world. You see, they are rapists, pervs with evil intentions, and people with sticks up their asses. There are others, but I happen to despise those the most. You see, you fit into 2 of those categories. So, I'll be blunt. I'll open 2 of these seals. I'll face you with 30% of my power. How does this opened wide? And no, too late. Using 2 fingers, Naruto unlocked 2 of the seals that kept 20% of his chakra at bay. Chaos and enormous power is what the next could be described as. Everyone felt it, even the people at the ballroom. Everyone in the ballroom was forced onto the ground and almost all passed out, the only exceptions being Rias, Lucifer, and Graphia. And of course we can't forget the douche riser. Lucifer, Graphia, and Rias could only watch in wonder and fear. Naruto, Rias muttered while being forced to the ground by this massive power. Meanwhile, Graphia and Lucifer were kneeling down on the ground struggling to stay up. Lucifer looked with a small amount of fear in his eyes. This power, how? Back to Naruto, he wasn't afraid anymore, to show the world what he truly was. Closing his eyes, he activated his Rinne Sharingan, and slowly opened his eyes once again showing his Rinne Sharingan to the world. Riser scrambled to get away in fear but found he could move under the pressure that he was placed under. Riser, who's the weak one now? Riser. You, lying on the floor. For me. How touching. You, imbecile. Let me go this instance. Naruto clucked his tongue. I'm sorry, but can't do that. You see, you forced Rias into something she didn't want. I really can't stand for that, that's why, I'm going to make it so you regret your decision for your whole entire lifetime. Naruto gathered his hands together. Lucifer and Graphia looked with interesting. Chibaku, Tensai. A small black orb flew out of Naruto's hand and into the air, then, a massive gravitational pull pulled Riser to the circle. Unable to resist, Riser flew to the center of the circle and stuck there. You let me down this. He was silenced when a rock flew into his mouth. Then, bigger rocks started to fly towards the black sphere in the middle, then even bigger rocks until Riser's body could no longer be seen through the rocks. When the gravitation pull subsided, all you could see was one lone ball of rocks sitting in the middle of the arena. That should have done the job. Oh wait, you have that regeneration thing, don't you? I better make sure that my job here is finished. Amaterasu, black flames rushed from Naruto's eyes into the ball. The ball erupted into black flames and after 5 long minutes, Naruto willed the fires to go away and they did. Naruto sighed. He sealed one of his seals and then the other, and the sphere of rock collapsed due to the sudden drop in chakra. Slowly, people started to wake up again, and saw something fall from the crumbling sphere of stone. They looked closer and saw one body fall. The bloody and beaten up body of Riser Phoenix, and he was missing an arm and a leg. Also, he wasn't regenerating. Well, that was surprising. Naruto-kun. You certainly did a number on Riser. Although I have nothing but ill feelings towards him, I couldn't help but feel sorry for him after seeing what you did to him. He isn't dead, right? No, he's not dead, Naruto replied, thinking back to after the battle. Flashback. After conclusion of battle, Ravel was one of the first that awoke from unconsciousness just to see her brother falling from the sky. Ni-sama. Ravel rushed towards Riser who was falling free fall right towards the ground. Right at the last minute, Ravel made the catch and set him down on the ground. She covered her mouth with her hand. No, Ni-sama, Ravel yelled, starting to cry. Calm down, kid, he's not dead. She looked up to see the blonde-haired man that fought her brother. Gya, get away from me, you monster. Ravel started to scramble away, completely forgetting about her brother that was lying on the ground. Monster. Then Naruto looked around and saw most of the people glaring at him with an amount of hatred that he had only seen in Konoha. Sighing, he was going to let himself out of the underworld until someone grabbed him and embraced him in a gigantic hug. Confused, Naruto looked up to see who had him in this soft, comfortable embrace. It was none other than Rias Gremory, the person who he probably just saved from a life of torture. Thank you, Naruto, thank you. She cried and Naruto really didn't know how to respond to that. You're welcome. Rias just smacked him across the chest. That's rude. When a lady says thank you, you respond with something cheesy. Naruto's sweat dropped. Seriously? Well, that was quite surprising. I never knew that you would have so much power cooped up within yourself. Naruto turned around to see Lucifer walking up to him. It's nothing, Lucifer-sama. I was just putting a douchebag in his place. No need for the honorifics. Just call me by my first name, Sirzex. Thank you, Luke Sirzex. So, what happens now? Do I have to deal with a political warfare because I hurt one of your noble devils? Sirzex entered a thoughtful trance for only 3 seconds. No, I don't believe so. You could have killed him there and made it look like an accident. By the way, what did you do with him? Yes, indeed. What did you do with my son? Ah, Lord Phoenix, I'm glad you came to join us, although you don't seem very happy if your expression is anything to go by. Yes, I am quite displeased. However, I hold no grudge against Uzumaki-san here. It was won fair and square. However, at the same time, I do not wish to see my son live out the rest of his life as a cripple. Naruto nodded. Well, you don't have to worry about the Phoenix-sama. His wounds won't be healed by his own fires now, but if he focuses his energy into his arm and leg, he should be able to regenerate it, although it may be a slower process than what the fires could regenerate normally. Lord Phoenix nodded. I extend my gratitude to you for not crippling him for his whole entire lifetime, although he may have deserved it in many people's eyes. Naruto liked the guy. He didn't have any ill intent behind what some people could call an act. He was just being respectful and saw the situation for what it was. A fight that led to his son's defeat. There's no need for that. Besides, I am the one who wounded him in the first place. Nonsense. Yes, I am very sorry to interrupt, Phoenix-sama, but I do wish to talk to Naruto-kun here, and I'm afraid that the looks that these people here are giving him is a little unsettling. May I take him away from you so we can have a chat? Sirzex said, cutting into whatever Lord Phoenix was going to say. Yes, of course you may. I suppose I'll be on my way. Thank you once again for leaving my son alive. Naruto didn't respond as Lord Phoenix was already moving toward his son, who was currently embraced by his sister, who had once again moved to his side. When the little girl saw her father, she yelled, "Father! We must make that low-class devil pay for what?" Silence. Your brother lost to him because he was arrogant and didn't have enough power. You should be grateful that he didn't kill Riser. Let's go. We need to go and start healing him. The little girl looked like she was going to protest, but didn't. Just giving one final glare to Naruto, she left along with her father. Let's go, Naruto. Let us talk at the House of Gremory over some food and beverages. Naruto just followed Sirzex while many still gave him glares. Back to the present. Naruto. Naruto sighed while rubbing the back of his head as he felt in sharp pain. Ah, Rias, what was that for? Stop spacing off like that and listen. Naruto sighed. Why could he just be left in silence? Oh wait, right, it was because one of the strongest devils currently in existence wanted to talk to him over some food and beverages. Hooray for him. He supposed that he should have been feeling honored that the great Sirzex Lucifer wanted to talk to him, but all that he could feel was annoyance. It was most likely because there was a red-haired girl, although she was beautiful, she was yelling in his ears. Okay, calm down, Rias. OWW. Naruto yelled as Rias started pinching his cheeks and dragging him. You just come here and stay silent, but talk with Rias Clamo's mouth all the while grabbing his cheeks. Naruto desperately, not really, tried to call out for help, Zerchex, Hupe. But Sirzex had different things going through his mind. Ah, maybe I should get some water to drink. Then instead of looking to help Naruto, he left towards the kitchen with Grafia right behind him. Naruto saw Grafia looking back towards him and his hopes rose, but sighed as she turned away. The only thing that confused him was, why were her cheeks slightly pink? Damn that Naruto. My perv senses are going off. I bet he's having lots of fun with Rias-sama, TT, Issei yelled, crying tears of jealousy. Only, he was beat down seconds later. Perv, Kaneko muttered while kicking Issei's face to the ground. They were ordered to stay in the main part of the house while Naruto was taken by Sirzex into another part of the house. Ow, Kaneko, you don't have to be so rough. Yes I do. To get rid of a perv. Everyone's sweat dropped while Kiba was just smiling. Everything had gone so well. Although it was frightening to finally see the power that Naruto had, the fact that he had been able to defeat Riser so easily was a relief. And it only made it better that Sirzex-sama seemed to like him. Although, it was kind of scary how the devil population didn't seem to like him. But it must have been a spur-of-the-moment thing. More like a hate for the power that Naruto possessed. Not Naruto himself. That was a relief. Civil war was something that the devils couldn't afford because of their situation with numbers. Kiba did wonder though. What is Naruto doing? Wait, Rias. Naruto stopped Rias's hands. What's the matter? You can't just undress in front of me like that. Rias looked at Naruto with a sly smirk. Why would that be Naruto-kun? Naruto meanwhile was just blushing madly. Damn it, Kurama. We were worrying about power and battle too much. We forgot to study up on the worst thing in the world. Meanwhile Kurama was just laughing his head off. Ahahaha, the person who could defeat even the Rakudo Sennin can't handle a female body. Hahahahahah. It's not funny. You're staring at me, Naruto-kun. If you wanted to see, you could have just asked. Rias started once more to undress herself, then Naruto just stopped her again.
Ah, you're so cute when you're blushing madly, Naru-kun. But I guess I'll stop teasing for now. Rias said, winking.
Naruto sighed out a large breath he didn't know he was holding. Man, what a pain. Wait, did she just say, for now? Oh, dear, bawahahaha. Naruto ignored the laughter from Kurama. But Naru-kun, I wanted to thank you for saving me from that baka riser. Naruto's sweat dropped. And, you decided to do that by trying to strip down in front of me? Ah, don't tell me that you didn't enjoy it, Naru-kun. I could see it in your eyes. Naruto blushed. Well, I mean, why are women so complicated? Naruto said, annoyed. Rias giggled. Well, if I can't give you a good look, I suppose. Rias's face leaned in closer, and closer to Naruto's until, bang. The two looked towards the door startled. Rias-sama, I advise that you refrain from doing such actions within the house while your peerage is still here. Ma, Grafia-san, I was just having fun with little Naru-kun here, but I guess you're right. Rias lifted herself off of Naruto then slowly started striding out towards the door. Naruto facepalmed internally while Kurama was laughing. He swore he could see a slight sway in Rias' hips as she walked out. You're finally doing it, you're becoming a perv. Shut it, you furball, you're the only pervert here. Naruto's a Naruto just cut the mental connection and sighed. Naruto-san, I'm afraid that you must come out as well. It would not be respectful if I left a guest of my master's house unattended. I will be right out. Grafia nodded and then left, giving one last look confusing Naruto. Why, in that look did Naruto see anger, but most of all, why was there jealousy? Ooh, checking out the redhead and the maid. Didn't take you for that type. Kurama, Naruto was just sulking. Just a little bit. The talk with Kurama had been nothing but pleasant. Naruto swore that Kurama was just a closer perv or something. He had to be talking about that. Naruto blushed, confusing everyone around him. You okay, Naru-kun? Naruto jumped in surprise. Yeah, of course, I'm fine. They were all currently sitting at the dinner table eating. Rias's peerage had joined them as well, and the table was full, unlike any time else where there were always a decent amount of seats empty. So, Naru-kun, what do you plan on doing after this? What are you going to do? Naruto thought. He never thought about it. I don't know honestly. I guess I'm just going to do a little bit of stuff on my own. Train, and stuff. Rias and everyone looked surprised. What? Did I say something wrong? Naruto asked, sweat dropping. You still train? Everyone asked and Naruto looked around confused. Why wouldn't I train? I mean, I want to get stronger, wouldn't I? Everyone looked like they were about to fall out of their seats, but you're plenty strong already. You really don't need any more training. You're a monster for training yourself that much. Naruto didn't get it. There's never a limit to your power. That's why I continue to train. Don't tell me you guys aren't training. Everyone looked down. Yep. Suspicion confirmed. Oh, I see, you guys really should be training more often. Training not only helps you build your power, but it helps bring just a little bit more experience. Although nothing helps with experience like a real battle. Everyone looked like they were mentally taking notes. Well, that changed the mood at the table quickly. Sirzex said, cutting in. It seemed to diffuse the slightly thick atmosphere. When are you going to leave? To go and train. I was planning on leaving after I left the underworld, so I could start right away. I mean, I won't have anything else to do, will I? Rias looked down. I suppose so. It would have helped just a little if you could just stay at school. Well, I don't want to stay at school though. Naruto saw Sirzex smiling and instantly had a bad feeling. Actually, Naruto-kun, this is perfect timing. I was wondering if you could protect my little Ria-tan for the time being while she's in the human world. Naruto felt right. What do you need me to protect her from? Is there some kind of outside force that wants to capture her or something? Naruto said, masking his irritation and annoyance. No, but I believe that Riser might try something again just for revenge or to get my little Ria-tan again. So I was wondering if you can protect her from personal harm. That's so bullshit, Naruto thought. Well, as you say, like father like son, but in this case, brother like sister. They're both so stubborn. Finally, you're on my side, Kurama, but having a hot babe near you wouldn't hurt, would it, Naruto? I take it back. Naruto sighed. He really didn't have a choice, did he? Although he was way more powerful than the man that had made the request, he couldn't disobey the authoritative figure of the underworld and expect to come back out with no consequences. Sigh. I guess so, Sirzex. I'll do that. How long do I have to do that, and also, do I have to stay with her 24/7? No, that won't be necessary. Although that would be nice, you may leave her after school since she would be with her peerage after school. They should be enough to protect Rias from Riser. Naruto thought, that's another reason that it's bullshit. If you wanted protection, you'd request it 24/7. Naruto sighed really loudly, telling everyone that he wasn't exactly happy with this decision, but he complied, not wanting to create a scene. Also, it would look bad in front of dear Graphia. He couldn't afford any of the consequences that would follow his action. So when do I have to start? Naruto asked, hoping to get at least some time of peace before he had to start taking care of Rias. Yes, you actually are lucky. I belly your little Ria-tan. Spring break or something as they called it, right, Ria-tan? Yes, and, please, would you stop calling me Ria-tan in front of everyone? You know I can't stop calling you that, Ria-tan. Rias just looked away, making everyone at the table sweat drop. But besides that, for the most part the evening went on without anything else interesting happening. Akeno was continuously talking to Issei, which actually surprised a lot of people, and Kaneko and Kiba just kept to themselves, keeping nice table manners, although table manners seemed to be thrown out the window at the House of Gremory. Everyone is being lively, with the exception of Kaneko and Kiba, and were talking while enjoying their food that they were given. Soon the day was over, and everyone was preparing to go back to Earth and sleep, but Sirzex surprised them once again by offering them to stay at the Gremory house. No one was eager to refuse that offer. It would provide them with a comfortable home and they wouldn't have to travel. It was a great idea in everyone's mind. Naruto for once thought it was a great idea. Well, not really. He had hoped that he would be able to go home and do some stuff back at his house, such as try to figure out if there would be anyone in this world that would give him a good fight, but besides that, he supposed that there were other things that he could have done. But he certainly wasn't going to complain right now when he was holding a naked Rias in his arms in bed. It took Rias a lot of convincing to get Naruto to sleep with her, which involved a lot of convincing and cheek pinching. Naruto sighed. There was still so much left to do. But for now, he would enjoy what he had and worry about the things left to do later. He thought about Graphia and the beauty he was currently holding in his arms. Yes, the rest of his path would be hard, but not impossible. Maybe it was finally his turn to have some good luck in this world. Naruto smiled as he hugged Rias just a little closer and fell asleep. Fire, destruction, death. People were lying on the floor with cold blood spread out all over them. The forest grounds were littered with dead corpses and red stains blotted the land nearby. Roarrrrrrrrr, the sound of the beast that was terrorizing them. Naruto watched, unable to do anything, as the gigantic Kyuubi in front of him decimated people, the army of the strongest village in the nation. Stop, 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 Kurama! Naruto yelled, doing absolutely nothing. The best didn't even seem to slightly register the fact that Naruto was yelling at him. Naruto quickly charged up a Rasen Shuriken and threw it with all his might at Kurama. Surprisingly, it just passed right through him, not even leaving a mark. Naruto watched as the scene was swept away, replaced by another. The beast was restrained by chains. Finally, what were you thinking, Kerr? We'll always love you, son. Naruto looked down and tears started to drip out of his eyes. His mother and father was protecting him from Kurama's claw while muttering things to the blonde-haired boy. Naruto moved in closer to take a look at himself when he was younger and smiled. Naruto watched as the blonde-haired kid opened his eyes, and shockingly reeled back as he saw not sky-blue eyes, but eyes with red pupils and black irises. I'm back. Seems like you've been busy. Naruto reeled back as he saw everything disappear and a clone of himself appeared. Yami, that's right. I'm so glad you hadn't forgotten about me. So, ready to give me your body? Like hell I will. Calm down, Jeesh, I'm just kidding. But by the way, I have a couple things to say. Contrary to what you believe, I'm not here to take back your body. Fine. What is it? Talk quick because I'm still irritated and pissed because of the previous images that were going through my head. Was that you? On the contrary, it was me that broke it. Guess you can help me with some things. Whatever, but now, let's talk about those two babes you're checking out. I never took you for the type. What is it with you and Kurama? Have you been conspiring or something? Yes, Naruto just stared. Bwahahahahahahah, you're so easy to fool. Seriously. The strongest person in the world, and you can't handle these kinds of jokes. Oh, man, this is crazy. You know what I just realized? What? Naruto snapped back, getting a tick mark on his head, irritated already by Yami's antics. Rakudo did absolutely nothing to help you emotionally. While you've been faring well and maturing, you've done no emotional conditioning whatsoever. You're still emotionally unstable. Don't get me wrong, you're smart alright, but didn't you see that you don't have that strong of emotional walls? Just look at what that red-haired girl did to you just last night. You freaking watched. I mean, why wouldn't I? Damn it, Yami. Stay out of my own personal business. Yeah, it's very personal. I'm going to kill you. You know you can't. It only makes it better. See ya. Then the Yami within him disappeared, only leaving a fuming Naruto. What happened? Came a more familiar voice. I don't want to talk about it, Kurama. Whatever. I'm going. Then Naruto left the mindscape, leaving one bewildered Kurama. Did I do something? Thanks for watching.